Where did you get breakfast from, Lane? I meant to ask you that before we got started.
I like how you try to be real casual about like trying to engage me in conversation. But
Yeah.
clearly that's all it is. I went to French Truck Coffee this morning.
Where is that?
The one on Madison.
Okay.
You know, I got a new car recently, and when I used to have the Jeep, when I would drive on Madison, those train tracks, trolley tracks, would like mess me up. New car doesn't seem to matter that much. I don't know.
Okay.
It's like a totally different street. Street didn't do anything different. Just the car is different. Got some coffee, got a bagel.
I'm not big into bagels, man.
I'm not either, but I took my son to grab some breakfast, and I was gonna get a. I usually have yogurt granola or oatmeal granola for breakfast every day, and they didn't have anything. I didn't want to have like the bacon and cheese biscuit for breakfast. That's kind of, you know.
Yeah.
So I passed on that, and I thought, well, at French Truck I'll get like some sort of pastry or something, and all they had was like cinnamon sugar rolls, and I was like, that's kind of, it's a little much for breakfast. So the bagel was kind of the lesser of all the evils.
Got you.
I voted for the Falcons in the chat.
Of course you did. I put them in there just for you.
I was hoping somebody else said 9% of the vote. Maybe that's just me.
Maybe. It's early. It feel like fall outside to you, Lane?
It does. It's great.
Okay.
I got double sweats on today, but I was thinking by noon, it might be one of those days you have to make the pant change. Yeah. The pants go to the shorts.
I don't know. It feels too, like the cold is too nippy. It feels more wintry to me than fallish.
I love a good wintry mix.
Wintry mix?
Wintry mix.
That's cool. Is that the name of an artist or something?
No. I had a friend in college who made a mixtape for his girlfriend and called it the Wintry Mix.
Ooh.
We always thought that was hilarious.
Did you ever make mixtapes for significant others?
Yeah, CDs more.
Yeah,
like,
well, that same thing. What do you call it? What did you call it? Did you like name them? I call mine Mr. Nasty Time Mix.
Well, that kind of spells it out.
The Mr. Nasty Time Mix. So it's TMNT, sort of like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, but nasty time.
That's sort of good, but that doesn't really leave much to the imagination. That's
no, we don't need to imagine anything. You know what it is when this song gets played. Let's get
this album gets put on. Hey, I'm Lang. Jessica's not here today. I don't even know where she is. Good morning from Athens, Georgia. I appreciate you, Eric Lawson. Athens, Georgia's in the house. Getting ready for a big game this weekend. First big home game all season for the Bulldogs. We'll talk about that later. We got a lot to talk about today because we had NFL last night. We got the Grizzlies tonight. We had a great, for the first time in a long time, Grizzlies PR injury email, which was elated everybody yesterday when that came out. There's a fight tonight. I was going to say a good fight. I don't know if it's good or bad. Who knows? There's a fight tonight that we should talk about. We got college football all weekend. We got a big NFL weekend. It's Music Friday. Jared Boyd's going to stop in at some point and hang out with us, talk about music and other stuff. We got a big day. It's Friday. You're on the Jessica Benson Show. He's CJ. I'm Lane. Come hang out with us.
Let's face it, there's a lot of trash talk in basketball, but the great teams let their performance do the talking. Like Ford F-150 with Pro Power on board, a class-exclusive industry-first feature that turns your truck into a mobile generator and leaves the competition speechless. Ford F-150, official truck of the Grizzlies. Greatness starts here at your Mid-South Ford dealer. Class is full-size pickups under 8,500 pounds, GVWR.
When it's all on the line, you turn to the strong, the stable, the unwavering. To those with a history of raising their performance, to meet the moment. It's true in basketball. It's true in banking. Grizzlies Checking from Pinnacle. Play hard. Bank easy. Open a Grizzlies checking account with at least $100 and a recurring direct deposit by August 31st. And you could receive a $200 direct deposit bonus into your account. Details at grizzliesbanking.com. Member FDIC.
Thanks for showing up, Memphis. Nothing beats catching your Grizzlies IRL, and nobody knows that better than you. So next time you want to hit up a game, Ticketmaster's got your back with tickets to every upcoming matchup. Whether you're catching the Grizzlies at home or on the road, you'll find tickets at Ticketmaster, the official ticket marketplace of the Memphis Grizzlies and the NBA. Keep putting that jersey collection to use and get Grizzlies tickets today. There's no better brag than saying you saw it live. See you courtside again soon, Memphis.
Justin Timberlake.
I'm bringing sexy back.
The Forget Tomorrow World Tour. Live in Memphis. Justin Timberlake. FedEx Forum, Saturday, November 23rd. Get tickets now at livenation.com. The brand new single Selfish is available to stream and download now.
So if I get jealous, I can't help it.
For more, hit up justintimberlake.com.
John Moran is now being called by multiple professional athletes the most athletic human in the world.
What's the second best highlight you've seen this year?
That's right. I mean, I can't think of something off the top of my head.
He's had 3 that are better. I mean, I said this yesterday. 99.9% of every NBA player could play not only this year, but their entire careers.
The Gary Parrish Show, live on weekdays at 10 a.m. on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
There's no greater gift in the NBA right now than the gift of Ja Morant highlights. The highlight of Ja Morant going reverse 360 generated 161 million views in the first 24 hours.
Hey, Grizzlies fans, be sure to tune in to Grizzbeat, where the panel and I break down all things Grizzlies and take a look at the rest of the NBA as well. The show is live every Wednesday, 2 p.m. on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
Feels great to feel the sunshine. Got her on the day like it's all mine. Just got paid in his own time. Been working hard, I've been on the grind. I deserve this feeling, having my way. I've been on this healing. This is my day. The sun's out, ay. Let's have a little fun now. Ay. I wanna let it all out. Ay. That's what it's all about. Ay. Ay. Cause I deserve this feeling, having my way. I deserve this healing. This is my day.
Grind City Media presents The Jessica Benson Show with CJ Hurt. Live from the Grind City Media studios on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
Good morning. Welcome to the Jessica Benson Show here on Grind City Media. I'm Lang Whitaker, sitting in for JB, who is not here. I think she's in New Orleans. I don't even remember where she is, but she's not here. She'll be back Monday. So I'm here today. CJ Hurt's here today, and we're gonna hang out with y'all today.
Let's do it.
What's up, man? How you doing?
I'm good. How are you? You watched the game last night?
Little bits and pieces of it. My wife and I are trying to finish The Penguin.
Oh yeah, I'm about a quarter of the way through. I'm assuming it's the last episode.
I think there's 8 episodes.
So I don't know.
We're at the point where like my son was coming home from school yesterday, and we had like a half hour. So we were like, let's try to watch half an hour before he gets home from school. And then I was thinking, you know what? Like my son loves Batman and stuff. Maybe he could watch this show. And then I was like, no. Like I saw some things on the show, so I was like, no, he's not that old yet. But I'm on The Penguin. So like last night I was trying to switch back and forth. I watched some of the NFL.
How far into The Penguin are you?
I'm on episode 7.
Okay.
I'm almost done.
All right.
And I saw it ended last week or whatever. Like the final episode has shown, and everyone I follow who is like on Twitter who like is into that stuff was like, this is the best comic book show ever. Oh. And apparently the finale is awesome.
How many of those comic book shows have you watched?
Not a lot.
You don't do The Boys, right?
I do.
You do The Boys.
I kind of like slowed on it.
Gotcha.
I watched the first few seasons, then it got so outrageous. I was just like, all right, like come on, guys.
Did you do Gotham at all?
No.
Gotham is a good show. If you enjoyed Penguin, you'll enjoy
Gotham. was
Gotham.
like a network show, right?
Yeah, it was still good.
Yeah,
it was real good. It's still got that dark, because for whatever reason, Gotham City has got to be dark.
I know.
Got to be dark and dank and dangerous.
You and I one time talked about the Batman, and I told you like I saw it in the theater and wasn't really into it. And it was just like so dark and just Nirvana music the whole time and stuff.
Yeah.
I rewatched it last week with my son, and I liked it way better. the second time, watching it on and the detective aspect of it and all that. Like it was easier to follow at home.
The best detective Batman is the Batman.
Yeah,
they did the detective part of what that character.
Except he didn't have the bat computer
so well. But that's the thing,
But he had the bat contact lens.
The computer's like gadgets, right?
Yeah.
You've got the gadget component to Batman. You've got the billionaire component to Batman. You've got the martial
The gadgets
arts
are fun,
component.
though.
The gadgets are fun, but like when we talk about the detective component, Batman is supposed to be, Bruce Wayne's supposed to be this world-class detective, and we can lose that sometimes in all of the extra stuff. Whereas in this movie, in the Batman, they let the detective stuff shine bright, man.
Yeah.
It was really, really
well,
good.
he really teams up with like Detective Gordon, Commissioner Gordon, whatever he is at the time. Somebody said, how can you watch part of an episode? Once I start something, I got to finish it. Me too, but like when your kid walks in the door and, somebody's murdering 20 people, you got to turn it off. Like, sorry.
I have that issue with my wife. She can't do the violence and the gore. So when she comes into the room, it has to pause. And if she's going to hang around, I have to just stop it.
I tried watching, speaking of violence and gore, I tried watching part of the NFL last night.
Okay.
But every time I turned over to the game, the Eagles were just going 3 and out and punting. And then the Redskins, or the Commanders, were moving down the field. And then I look over at the end, and the Eagles win the thing by a couple scores. And ran the ball all over the Commanders, end up getting the win, 26-18. Jalen Hurts, 18 for 28. 220 yards, but Saquon, 146 yards rushing, 2 TDs. And the Eagles pull away. It was funny at the start of the season, everybody was all out on Nick Sirianni, and they're like, this guy sucks. The fans are booing him. He's booing them, yelling at him and stuff. And now they're, 8-2?
8-2.
First place in the NFC East.
Third straight year, 8-2. I think that's the first time ever in Eagles history they've gone 3 straight years with a record of 8-2, 10 games into the season. This game, at times, I love football. I do, and it's there aren't very many issues that I have with football, and this is not an issue that I have. At times, football can be a bit soccerish in that nothing is happening from a scoring standpoint, but you just got to stick with it and keep watching it, because eventually you get plays like what Saquon did. That game, to your point, Lane, was very ugly up until, and by ugly, I mean like not a lot of scoring going on, not a lot of big plays, not a lot of oh my gosh moments until fourth quarter comes through and Saquon pops those two big runs off.
Both of those runs, though, like you and I could have run through those holes.
Oh,
like,
hell yeah.
If you look at those, I mean.
Speak for yourself. I don't think I can make it through a hole. Throw the video back up, Kyra. Throw one of the videos. I want to see what the hole looks like, see if I can get through it. Lang, I'm slow.
I mean, look at that. Look at that.
I could have got through that
right
hole,
there.
Lang. I could have got through that.
Maybe we get caught right there trying to turn that corner at the end. But watch the other one where he goes through the left side.
Yeah.
He just runs in a straight line. I mean, it's like Emmitt Smith on the Cowboys.
Yeah, I might could have got through that hole. I'm not gonna run it. I'm not gonna house it.
I might get run down from behind.
Yeah, right there. I'm gonna get the first down. That's where I'm at.
I'm just saying. I thought the Eagles, like from a line standpoint, the Eagles dominated that game. And also, like, look, Saquon had 26 carries, 146 yards. Jalen Hurts had 40 yards rushing too. Like, and I think that's when they're at their best. When Hurts is sort of your secondary. He's passing the ball not because he has to, but because he can. Like, he sets up the pass with the run, and I think that's what makes the Eagles so good. And I think they're kind of getting back to that a little bit. You mentioned like soccerish. I did watch. I should have mentioned this to you previously, so we could
watch the men's game.
I watched the U.S. men against Jamaica last night.
I saw they scored in like the first 5 minutes.
They did. They scored right away. Ricardo Pepi scored right at the beginning. And then they gave up a penalty kick to Jamaica like 5 minutes later. And the U.S. goalie, Matt Turner, blocked it.
Okay.
Knocked it out of bounds. And then they ended up winning 1-0. But it's the new coach, Mauricio Pochettino, the Argentinian guy, used to be the Chelsea manager. He has now won as many away games as the head of the U.S. soccer team as the previous manager, Greg Berhalter, did in like 10 years or whatever it was. And that's his first game managing an away game. So that was a good game.
That's embarrassing.
I think the biggest news last night, though, the happiest news for Grizzlies fans was the tweet we got from Grizzlies Media Info, PR. I don't know which account it is. Grizzlies PR. All of a sudden, from out onto the – so we have out, doubtful, questionable. Those are our levels of injury on the injury reports. 3 guys have moved into the questionable category. Desmond Bain, now questionable for tonight's game against the Golden State Warriors. Brandon Clark, questionable. And then Vince Williams, questionable. And this was accompanied by video of Vince Williams at practice yesterday, running around, taking shots. Looks good. Desmond Bain, we have not seen video of him, but if you're on the questionable list, I think that means you're kind of 50-50 or maybe even a little better than that. Unofficially, probably like 60-40 to play. A lot of times we've seen guys questionable. They'll do the pregame workout, and that's when the decision's made, like how they react to that. But the fact that we're even this close, I think, to getting Bain back, to getting Vince back, now we're down to just G.G. Jackson, John Morant, basically on the out list. We're close. We're close to having everybody back. I don't know if it's enough to beat the Warriors, though, tonight in Golden State.
Yeah, I mean, it's not about any one game, right? It's about the totality of the season.
It is sort of about one game, though.
We can preview that game in a different sort of a conversation than the one we're going to have about the team getting back healthy or getting healthy, and not even getting back. They started the season with a couple of big-time injuries. So getting healthy for this team is really, really important. And I feel like we saw last game against the Lakers what a player like Vince Williams Jr. What a role from him would look like, right? Like you need somebody big, physical, athletic to guard some of these big, physical, athletic perimeter players, like a la LeBron James. Because I love Jalen Wells. I love the game. Yeah. I enjoy what he's done early on in this season. I understand that he's either first or second on the rookie ladder right now, whatever that's worth. But it's different having to guard somebody like LeBron James, right? You need a little bit of meat. You need a little bit more experience. You need some know-how.
Yeah, but my
thing
with
Vince
that is,
that.
like, how many LeBron James do you have to guard, right? There's only one LeBron James. Do you know what I mean? Like,
DeMar DeRozan?
He's not LeBron.
But they're great perimeter players, and they're going to gobble Jalen Wells up every single time.
Against the Warriors tonight, you know, you need somebody to guard Steph Curry, right? Then you need for like that sort of athletic wing guy, Wiggins. Like, you know, every team has
Wiggins, Kuminga,
a wing guy like that, right? And if nothing else, though, like this gives you just some wiggle room with the fouls, because like. The other night, I forgot which game it was, Scottie Pippen got called for a foul like a minute into the game. And you're like, man, like we're already down players. We need guards. We don't have a lot of depth there. And then he has to stop being as aggressive as he is. And that's sort of what makes Scottie Pippen such a good defender, is his ability to get steals and hound guys in the backcourt. So just having other bodies available. And then if Jalen Wells is not your primary guy anymore on LeBron, when he comes in, he can be more aggressive. Jalen Wells can actually go for steals and do things like that too. Although I don't feel like that's his like mindset. He feels like Jalen Wells is like, I'm going to come in and do my job and play safe and do the right thing.
I was listening to the Anthony Sane show, Anthony Sane podcast. I can't remember what Anthony Sane's podcast is called. Sorry, Sane. But I was listening to it, and he had Jalen Wells' dad on earlier this week. And his father was talking. It was a great interview. If you hadn't listened to it, go listen to it. Check it out. His father was talking about, like, hey, this when he was young, we told him this about playing defense. And the thought was, hey, once you get to the NBA, you'll be playing actual defense, not this gimmicky stuff that they wanted him to do at Washington. And it seems like the focus, at least from his father, was on keeping dudes in front of you. That's the defense we want to play. We want you to play one-on-one, being able to keep your guy in front of you. So, no, he's not going for steals. No, he's not reaching. He's not trying to go for deflections, because that leaves him out of position when the person catches the ball, now that he's not able to keep them in front of him. He's a really solid defender. He's just young, lighting ass. He needs this grown man weight. Vince has all of that, by the way. And this isn't a knock on Jalen. This is more of a testament to how good a defender Vince Williams Jr. is. But Jalen Wells, as a defender, is more of a, hey, I'm going to keep you in front of me because I have the size and the length to contest. Whereas with Scottie Pippen Jr., he has to be a pest.
Well, Vince also seems to have like that craziness that you want.
Yeah, he's not wrapped all the way.
Yeah, and Jalen is. Seems like Jalen's like very like pragmatic. He's real practical. He's going to do his job. But also when you were talking about that, it made me think about the Grizzlies' 2 draft picks this year, Zach Edey and Jalen Wells, are 2 guys who were used differently in college than the way they're being asked to play in the NBA. And the way they're playing in the NBA seems to really fit what their play type is. And it makes me think, well, it's easy to scout a guy and say, look what he did in college, but to find a guy who can translate to what you need in the NBA, like the Grizzlies front office did an awesome job with these two guys of finding guys who not only were good college players, but have the body type, the mentality, physical ability to fit into this system. It's almost like you're like kind of thinking ahead and guessing on these guys, which I guess you're doing anyway with the draft, but double it because you need them to come in and do something different than they did. Jalen Wells was the leading scorer on his team in college, probably the leading scorer on every team he's ever been on. And now you have to come here and be like a complimentary player.
I don't think he was.
Was he?
No, I think that, again, I'm going back to the Anthony Sane interview. His father said he was like 5'8" for most of his basketball playing career and then had one of those major growth spurts. And then that's when it changed for him. They thought he was going to be more of a point guard, facilitator type at a D2 type of level. And then he shot up to, what is he now, 6'8"? 6'7", 6'8"?
No, Jalen was like 6'6", 6'7".
Is he 6'6"? So he shot up, and that's when they were like, oh, okay, he's a completely different position. There, he did say his father brought up some frustration that he had, to your point, Lane, playing in college at Washington State, where it was more of a gimmicky defense, and it made it seem like he could not play defense. And this is where I give the front office credit. And seeing something there in him, because the knock on him was his defense. He couldn't play defense, and they were saying, his father was saying that he couldn't play defense in college because they didn't want him to play actual defense. They were trying to gimmick it up too much. Now he's in the pros. The Grizzlies saw that in him, and he's doing a solid job as a defender.
I mean, maybe he didn't lead Washington State in scoring, but he went to Sonoma State before that, where he led the entire conference in scoring. It averaged 20 a game and 8 rebounds. And then at Washington State, let's see, he averaged 13 a game, 12 a game. So, I don't know. I mean, Zach Edey's, though, definitely. Edey's a guy
Edey is different. And they're so different also, right? It looks like the Grizzlies front office has hit on 2 draft picks who couldn't have come into this league more differently. Come into basketball more differently. People identified Zach Edey a while back. Was like, oh, that person right there is big, tall, athletic. We got to get him to a basketball academy. We got to get him to the IMGs of the world. And that's where Zach Edey went, on to Purdue, right? Whereas Wells, a regular-looking kid, I'm assuming for most of his life, and then he shoots up. He goes D2, and then he makes a jump up. And the Grizzlies front office were able to identify both of these players as, hey, probable NBA players and pivotal pieces on the team early on in the season.
Especially for a system we hadn't played yet. Right? Like, I guess at some point the front office, the coaching staff realized, like, all right, we're going to pivot to this motion-based offense. We're going to change some things up. We got to get the right type of players in here. And they went out and found these guys who had never played for us before and figured out these guys are going to fit to what we're doing. It's been impressive to watch. Anyway, we played the Warriors tonight. Warriors have had an awesome start to the season. 8-2, I think 9-2. Everyone thought Klay Thompson leaves, it's all going to fall apart. They turned Buddy Hield into the new Klay Thompson somehow. Steph Curry missed a couple games, but they've been playing great so far this season. So we get to see them again. And Draymond, being Draymond, he'll be back too. You think Draymond's going to be playing tonight or watching the Tyson-Paul fight? I bet he puts out a podcast on the Tyson-Paul fight after the game.
Probably. Well, no, it won't. What time is the game?
I assume it's 10 o'clock our time or 9:30 our time.
The fight starts at 11. So
Eastern time. So it's 10 our time.
So 10 our time. So
let's see what time the Grizzlies game started. I don't even.
Yeah, so maybe the fight will be over by the time
9 p.m. our time.
9 our time.
So that's 7 West Coast time.
And are we thinking that the fight actually?
They're supposed to walk to the ring at 8 o'clock West Coast time.
Do we think that that's actually because don't boxing matches last?
Well, there's 7 undercard fights.
Yeah, they don't start on time.
Well, yeah, I guess but what if they all end in knockouts or something? And what if they're all fixed never mind.
No, I think he watches it after the game because I don't think it starts. I think the Grizzlies game ends before the fight starts.
I can see Draymond at halftime on his
watching
phone.
on halftime,
recording a little quick podcast, a little quick update.
That'd be what's up.
All right, we're gonna take a break.
Is there a matchup you're looking forward to tonight
in the game?
Yeah.
I want to see if Bane's back, like Bane versus whoever's their 2 guard, Buddy Hield, somebody like that.
Okay.
Like, Desmond the Grizzlies have had some games. We had that one game against the Lakers where we shot 17 for 34 from threes, but then there's other games like the one in LA the other night where it seemed like the fourth quarter you couldn't buy a three.
Yeah.
Like just having that consistent shooter back is going to, I think, change things for this offense and open things up even more. Because if you're not when you're knocking down those long shots, then you get those backdoor cuts and everything else. But the other night, Santi missed an open three, Huff missed an open three. A bunch of those guys, Laravia, I think, had one with like inside 6 minutes in the fourth, and you couldn't get one to go. If Desmond Bane's the guy who's open on the wing, boom, defenders come out, other guys are going to come in. Like, it's going to make things, I think, easier for the Grizzlies offense. And just having Des back gives you another ball handler, gives you someone else, a little leadership down the stretch. Like, I think that changes things a lot. So I want to see him. And then if Vince is healthy enough to guard Steph Curry, that would be – because remember, there's that clip of him hounding Steph Curry and laughing throughout the clip with that big smile on his face.
Because he's not wrapped all the way.
I had said earlier, like, he reminds me of the Joker in Batman because to bring this back. But we already have a Joker in the NBA. But the Heath Ledger Joker, because he's like unhinged and he's always smiling and he loves like being disruptive and all that. And then I was thinking about maybe we should call him the Riddler.
I was thinking the Riddler. I was thinking he reminds me more of
the Batman,
Enigma.
the Riddler.
Oh, that Riddler. Oh, he reminds me of Gotham, the Riddler, like the TV show.
I don't know that one. Yeah.
Yeah, but
not the Jim Carrey. Not the Jim Carrey.
No, not the. He's not funny enough to be the Jim Carrey one.
Or not the old 60s TV Batman, the Riddler.
I'm unfamiliar with his game.
Frank Gorshin.
Okay.
He wore like the green suit with question marks all over it. Like, but yeah, maybe we call Vince the Riddler because he can't really like solve him.
Okay.
Can we throw that out there? What do you think? Chat, let us know. The Riddler?
Who's your favorite Batman villain before we get to the break? Do you have one?
Not really. Okay. I would say, I mean,
there are a ton of them. Catwoman, Penguin, Joker, Man-Bat, Clayface, Riddler.
I'd probably go Riddler.
Ivy.
I like the Riddler and the
Freeze,
Batman because it's just like a disaffected, worker guy.
Yeah.
Like it's the most like realistic version of those. It's not
Killer
like
Croc.
Yeah, I didn't know.
Ra's al
Bane's
Ghul,
pretty cool. I like Bane. Yeah.
Bane. They made Bane so much cooler in the movie than what I think he is in the comic book and in the cartoons and things like that. I love the Bane from the movie. It was incredible.
I was watching it last night. Made me want to get out the Arkham Asylum games again and start playing those. Play through all those again.
It's been a while since we had a good Batman game.
Yeah, but there was like 5 of those Arkham Asylum games. There's a ton. They're great.
Yeah.
Anyway, we're gonna take a break. Hey, you know what it is? It's Friday. That means it's time for RAGGOW. We're going to do our games of the week when we come back here on the Jessica Benson Show on Grind City Media.
Who do you see ending up in the SWAC championship game? So give me your East and your West based on what you see right now.
If I had to say from what I've seen this year so far, I think you're probably going to get a Southern Jackson SWAC championship.
Get all of your HBCU sports and culture news by tuning in to HBCU Huddle with CJ Hurt and Mike Wallace. New episodes drop every Thursday on grindcitymedia.com, YouTube, and Spotify. Kroger shoppers and Grizz fans, want exclusive last-minute discounted ticket deals texted straight to you during the Grizzlies 2024-2025 season? Sign up with the new Kroger Buzzer Beater deal. Fans can sign up by texting Grizz to 636-479 or visit your local Kroger store in the Delta Division and scan the QR code. By signing up, you agree to receive recurring automated promotional and personalized marketing text messages from the Memphis Grizzlies. Consent is not a condition of any purchase. Message frequency varies. Message and data rate.
Sonic Radio. Welcome back to Sonic RNDIO. That spells radio with me, the CIO. This just in, the new Sonic $1.99 menu lets you build a crave-worthy meal for just $1.99 an item. Whether that's a creamy shake, crispy tots, or a quarter-pound double cheeseburger. This just out. Ostriches. They're mean, not very cute, and in my opinion, way too big for a bird. Don't miss the Sonic Fun 99 menu. 5 items, always $1.99. Live free, eat Sonic.
Tax not included. See menu for details.
Thanks for showing up, Memphis. Nothing compares to catching your Grizzlies IRL. And that all starts with buying tickets at Ticketmaster, the official ticket marketplace of the Memphis Grizzlies and the NBA. Ticketmaster gets you to the game so you can catch every highlight. Put that jersey collection to use for the next game and get Grizzlies tickets at Ticketmaster. Whether they're here at FedEx Forum or on the road, Ticketmaster's got your back when it comes to scoring tickets. And there's no better brag than saying you saw it live.
We have not talked to you since we got the big fella that's going to go next to you.
What has impressed you about him, though? Just being on the same court with him, because you've watched him a lot in college. You got to see him. We got to see him very, very little in summer league.
Very quick twitch, like decision making. Yeah. No real fear of anything. Like very vocal, able to talk through the game. But I mean, like, dude won Player of the Year twice. Like
I know.
The Chris Vernon Show, live on weekdays at noon on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
It's the top 5 worst teams in the NFL. I think the Panthers are the worst team in the NFL. I got the Saints number 1. Ha ha ha! Let's put the Aints up there. They're terrible.
I'll take the Titans as my worst team in the NFL. If they played Will Levis, they're for sure the worst team. Maybe in NFL history. Might be worse than the 0-16 Lions if they play Will Levis.
The Odds Couple, live at 2 p.m. on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
Who do you see ending up in the SWAC championship game? So give me your East and your West based on what you see right now.
If I had to say from what I've seen this year so far, I think you're probably going to get a Southern Jackson SWAC championship.
Get all of your HBCU sports and culture news by tuning in to HBCU Huddle with CJ Hurt and Mike Wallace. New episodes drop every Thursday on grindcitymedia.com, YouTube, and Spotify.
Welcome back to the Jessica Benson Show. Lane Whitaker here, sitting in today for JB with CJ Hurt as always. And it's Friday, which means normally I'm supposed to come in about now, but I'm already here. So instead, we're going to get to the games of the week, the RAGGOW. CJ and I both had like a cold this week. I think we gave it to each other on the Odds Couple at some point, but I still can't get my voice up to that register. He can, so shout out to you. All right, let's go through our games of the week. CJ, I'm going to start this off because my Georgia Bulldogs are playing the hated Tennessee Volunteers, and I cannot really get over the fact that this is a 10-point game. The line on this game is between 9 and 10. It's in Athens tomorrow night. Georgia coming off a 24-10 loss at Ole Miss. Tennessee looking to make the playoff. They've already lost a couple games, so kind of whoever loses this game is going to have 3 losses. And we've seen with the college football playoff rankings, they're not going by strength of schedule. They're just going by how many games you lose because they're afraid to make tough decisions. So whoever loses this game is probably going to be on the outside looking in of the college football playoff. I think you also have this game on your list too, right?
I have it on my list. Just because of the sheer chaos that's going to pop off in the SEC. If things play out the way people think things play out and there aren't any major surprises, right? Like LSU loses to Florida or something like that. You could end up with 7 2-loss SEC teams with 1 spot in the SEC championship game, which would be incredible. I don't know if you have them pulled up. I meant to pull it up. Just the SEC standings. Yeah. Tennessee's got 1 loss. Texas A&M's got 1 loss. Texas has 1 loss. So Texas A&M and Texas are going to play at the end of the year. As long as nothing weird happens in any of these upcoming games against, I can't remember who those 2 teams play, but it's not like it's murder's row or anything like that. You could end up with a situation where Tennessee has 2 losses, 1 to Arkansas, 1 to Georgia. Georgia has 2 losses. Yeah. Ole Miss has 2 losses. Alabama has 2 losses. LSU has 2 losses. Texas A&M has 2 losses. Missouri has 2 losses, and then it becomes and I'm leaving somebody else out. And then it becomes
LSU has 2 at the moment.
And then it becomes because there's not one common opponent all of these teams have played. It comes down to, you brought up strength of schedule. that it would come down to your conference strength of schedule.
Well,
who's getting in there.
So here I said Tennessee has 2 losses. They only have 1. Tennessee, Texas A&M, both 5-1 in the conference. Texas 4-1, Georgia 5-2, Ole Miss 4-2, Alabama 4-2, Missouri 3-2, LSU 3-2. So those are all your 1 and 2 loss teams in the SEC. So 2 teams are going to make the SEC championship game. So somebody's going to get a 3rd loss out of all this. Greg Sankey, commissioner of the SEC, yesterday was on the Paul Feinbaum program, and Paul Feinbaum asked him about this. He's like, what happens if a team gets a 3rd loss in the SEC title game? And Greg Sankey said, I would expect that the committee continues the form of thinking that these championship games, that 13th data point, is more of a reward and a recognition for the work you've done. So that it shouldn't count against you if you lose in the championship game. Last year, Georgia was undefeated, lost the championship game, got knocked out of the playoff. They were number 1 in the playoff ranking, lost the championship game, and got dropped down to number 6, totally out of the playoff picture. So some of the fans responded to this. Georgia was left off the playoff last year because of a loss in that very game. Sankey can go F himself. Sankey is the worst human being in sports. Responses from the fans. Georgia fans are still salty about last year, what happened last year. Just this year, Georgia lost last week to Ole Miss, got dropped all the way out of the playoff thing. Miami loses to Georgia Tech and only drops like a couple of spots. So I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen. But this game is going to cause some chaos one way or the other, either way. I mean, even if Georgia wins, but by double digits, which is what the line is, which seems unfathomable as poorly as they played against Ole Miss last week. I mean, I guess the other question is Nico. I know Teresa was talking to you guys about it yesterday.
Yeah.
About he's on the questionable list, concussion syndrome. Who knows if he's able to play or not. But that changes things a little bit for Tennessee, I think. If Tennessee loses this game, though, if Georgia wins this game, it's going to throw everything back into more chaos. Because I saw people being like, well, if Georgia wins, they're going to be fine. They'll be back in the playoff thing. Well, who are they leapfrogging? Right. Ole Miss? Because Ole Miss just beat them. Alabama beat Georgia too. So, I don't know how all this shakes out.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see. And this is why we talked about it maybe 4 or 5 weeks ago. And I was thinking more along the lines of the ACC when they have their conference championship game, because it's looking like they were going to be a muddled up mess as well. You got to go to quarterfinals. First off, the SEC stopped playing 8 conference games, play 9. You got to play 9 games, and then you got to go to the quarterfinals. And I'm gonna be honest with you, with this way that the SEC is and the way that the Big Ten is right now, you could probably play 10 games. Give yourself two out of conference. If you want to make it 1 cupcake, 1 actual team, knock yourself out. Go to 10 out of 10 conference games. That way, you stand a better chance of having common opponents, and you avoid some of this. Go to 10 conference games. Go to the quarterfinal sort of conference, not quarterfinal, semifinal, excuse me, for your conference championship, and then let's get it from there. The money you can make from an SEC semifinal, you would make a pretty penny. And that's what this is about. So
Georgia plays UMass next week.
Yeah, get that out of here. I don't need a UMass.
They play Georgia Tech the week after that, which is a non-con. It's going to actually be a good game. Georgia Tech's not bad, but that's another non-conference.
You can keep one of those conference games.
Georgia played Clemson to start the year. That's another non-conference game. Yeah. And they played Tennessee Tech at the start of the season. So
terrible.
That's 4 non-conference games that you don't need.
No.
You don't need to play Tennessee Tech. You don't need to play UMass.
No.
In the middle of the playoff hunt. I don't understand why that game's there. But a bunch of the SEC teams this weekend have that type of a game.
Alabama has Mercer. Get out of here. Stop it.
Auburn plays somebody back. Louisiana Monroe, I think.
Come on, man.
Yeah, there's a bunch of weird games.
Get those games off the schedule. We don't need them anymore.
My other game of the week, second game of the week for college is Utah, Colorado. Because we were all in a year ago on Coach Prime coming into Colorado, changing things, and they started off hot, and then everything kind of cooled off. But this year they're actually pretty good, and they're in the playoff race now, and they've been playing really well. Utah's a team that last week almost knocked off BYU. Everyone coming into the season thought Utah was probably the team out of the Big 12 that was going to make it into the college playoff. Cam Rising was back, all this stuff. Everyone on Utah's hurt. They just lost that tough game to BYU. Their commissioner, their athletic director, threw the conference under the bus in the post-game press conference, said they got cheated out of the game. I don't think that Colorado is going to get bothered that much. They're favored by 10 also in this game. Utah's running back opted out after the game last week to go back into the transfer portal. I think at Utah they saw like, hey, we had our shot. We missed our shot against BYU. Let's just get out of this season. And I feel like this is a game Colorado should be able to win kind of going away and put them in better position for the college football playoff too, because we were talking about yesterday building a program versus building a team with Deion. Whatever they're building, like they got a shot at making the playoff this year, which is kind of incredible considering they didn't win a game 2 years ago.
In a regular year, and by regular year, I mean one where Indiana isn't 10-0.
Yeah.
What Deion Sanders is doing at Colorado would be Coach of the Year. And the only reason I would have Cignetti as Coach of the Year over Prime, because I've never seen Indiana good at football. You've never seen Indiana good at. We've seen Colorado. It might have been a while, but you and I both have seen Colorado be good at football. We've never seen Indiana do this. Indiana has not had 10 wins in my lifetime, ever. We've seen Army be good. We've seen Navy be good. We've seen Colorado be good. We've never seen Indiana be good. So that's why I would give it to Cignetti. But the job that Coach Deion Sanders has done this season at Colorado is absolutely Coach of the Year worthy. You take a look back at what they were just 2 seasons ago. He's got that program a couple of wins away from being in their conference championship game, which is really, really impressive. My game of the week, my next one for college football is Clemson-Pittsburgh. I got to go to the notebook because I wrote some things
Which
down.
notebook is that?
Workplace Slay, Lane.
All day, every day.
Bow. There you see it. ACC championship game probabilities. Probability that these teams make it to the ACC championship game. It's only 4 teams that really matter right now. A couple of teams have 1% or less than 1% chance, but they don't matter. They're not getting in. SMU, 88%. Miami, 65%. Pitt, 7%. Clemson, 33%. So this is a de facto elimination game for that championship game. And that means that Pitt still has a chance to make it to the CFP also. You win your conference, you get in.
Yeah, but they'll have one of those teams, whoever wins this one's going to have to go through Miami at some point, right? Like in the ACC championship game.
If they make it. Like right now it's SMU and Miami.
Yeah.
It's theirs. So if something weird happens with SMU I think will have to lose twice to get Pitt in there because Pitt has the loss to SMU already on the season. Clemson, I'm not sure what the tiebreaker scenarios are between them and Miami and SMU. But yeah, like got one step at a time, Lane. Just get to the championship game first and figure it out. And this is a step in that process for both of those teams.
One step at a time.
One step at a time.
That's a big step, giant step. Shout out Coltrane. I don't think either of these teams is going to make it that far. But hey, it's not a great college football slate of games this weekend. It's sort of like the calm before that last couple weeks where it starts getting crazy around the holidays and all the rivalry games.
Even though there aren't, I guess, I think it's a good weekend. But even though it might not be a marquee matchup type of weekend, a game like even Missouri, South Carolina has national implications.
Not really.
Yeah, it does.
I mean,
because Missouri ends up with
Missouri's
one of
3-2.
those.
They're not.
Missouri ends up one of those 2-loss SEC teams. You could be talking about Missouri Lane going over Georgia, over Tennessee, over Alabama, over LSU. Right? Like that's it. They still do have implications, man.
So you're saying there's a chance?
There's a chance all over the nation, baby.
This is Dumb and Dumber. Like there's no way Missouri's making it to the college football playoff. There's no way that Missouri makes it the SEC championship game.
Okay.
I would have South Carolina in the SEC championship game before Missouri.
Okay.
At least South Carolina gives you something. You know?
Listen, I'm just saying.
You're buying into Eli Drinkwitz's
No.
BS.
I'm just saying that a 2-loss SEC team is going to the SEC championship game. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
And Missouri could very well be one of those 2-loss teams.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying, Lane.
And monkeys could fly. Well, yeah. I don't think that's happening. What's the 2:30 game tomorrow on ABC? I was just looking. Oh, LSU, Florida. Great. That's what I mean. Like, there's not a lot of marquee matchups tomorrow.
That game has national implications, though.
Boston College, SMU is the 2:30
implications, Lane. National implications, man.
Yeah, well, Boston College's quarterback just entered the transfer portal this week because they benched the guy, Castellanos, the one guy who was good for them this season. They were having issues too. All right, we got some NFL games too. I got Falcons. My Falcons. This is the Jessica Benson Bowl. The Falcons are playing the Broncos. The Bo Nix referendum in Denver this week. If the Falcons can stop the run, they got a shot here. But the Falcons have had trouble stopping the run this season. Falcons coming off that loss to the Saints, to the Aints in New Orleans last week, have been pretty good, or in first place in the NFC South, thanks to the Bucs losing last week also. So we'll see if the Falcons are able to make this competitive, see if we get a little Kirk Cousins game and the altitude in Denver can stop the run. Falcons got a shot. Falcons, Broncos. The other thing is I don't have NFL Sunday ticket or whatever it is, so like I just have to watch the games on Red Zone and wait for them to switch to my team. So I'm kind of hoping it's a high-scoring game, so I'll see a lot of the game.
Yeah, that game is interesting because both of those teams right now are in the playoffs, and I'm not sure if the Broncos, when it's all said and done,
I don't think they
get into the playoffs. And I think that I've got a game up here, and I'll talk about that more when that game comes up. All right, my first game of the week in the NFL is this game right here, Bengals-Chargers, because I think the Bengals is that team that's going to jump up. Either the Bengals or the Dolphins jump up and overtake the Broncos for that final playoff spot. And the Bengals schedule, don't look now, it kind of breaks for them a little bit. If they can win this game, this is not an easy game to win. This is not a guaranteed win by any stretch of the imagination. But if they win this game, they've got 2 games against the Steelers. And if you split that, like you've got 5 winnable games on the schedule. The 2 with the Steelers and the 1 with the Chargers notwithstanding. So you split the 1 with the Steelers, you win this one, you take care of business in those other 5, you're a playoff team if you're the Bengals, which means that the Bengals under Joe Burrow once again struggle mightily the first month of the season, go winless the first month, and find themselves in the playoffs because that offense is just that damn good. Joe Burrow is incredible.
They're at the Chargers for this week. Then they go home against the Steelers.
All right.
At the Cowboys. At the Titans.
1,
home against
2,
the Browns.
3.
Home against the Broncos.
4.
And then at the Steelers to end it.
That's 4 wins right there with 3 possibles.
Yeah.
Right? Like you go, you get those 4 wins, you split with the Steelers, that's 5. You get this one right here, that's 6. That takes you to 10 wins right there. Boom. You're in the playoffs.
And Joe Burrow's kind of rolling right now.
Kind of.
Against the Ravens, he had 56 pass attempts, 428
Come on,
yards,
man.
4 touchdowns. The week before against the Raiders, 251 yards, 5 touchdowns.
Come on, man.
Yeah.
Joe Burrow, he was injured last year. They hadn't been able to keep him upright. That offensive line in front of him for his entire NFL career has been abysmal. Joe Burrow deserves having his name mentioned when we talk about the big 3 quarterbacks in the NFL right now. It should be a big 4. It should be Lamar. It should be Patrick Mahomes.
Kirk Cousins.
No. Stop it. It should be Josh Allen, and it should be Joe Burrow. In some order, that should be your 4. Like, that's the tier right there. Joe Burrow's just playing phenomenal right now. What's your next game? Or last
We both
game?
had the last one.
Okay.
We both have Chiefs-Bills as the final one. And, look, it's 2 of the best teams, 2 of the top 3 quarterbacks, top 4 quarterbacks, however CJ wants to put it.
Top 4, because Joe Burrow's in that list.
3.5.
Ain't no 3.5. Joe Burrow's all the way.
He hasn't done it all
list.
season. It's only been for a couple of weeks. He's hot.
Joe Burrow has been hot since October, right? Like, we got to throw September
But
out.
the season started in August.
Yeah, I understand that. But October, Joe Burrow's been incredible.
Is it a little disappointing that this Chiefs game is on? It's at like the 3:00 game on Sunday, isn't it? It's not a primetime game.
I prefer it to not be a primetime game.
Would you rather it be like
I will go to sleep
it's
on
the
a
3:25
primetime game.
CBS game, so it's the Nance Romo game. But wouldn't you prefer it to be like the Monday Night Football?
No,
or Sunday
I'll go
night?
to sleep. No, I'll go to sleep. No, I don't care about primetime the way that you people care about primetime.
You people.
Yeah, you people. You people who need primetime to be at like 7:30. What are we doing? Primetime. My primetime is like 2. That is when I'm most alert and awake.
My prime time is the coach at Colorado.
Okay.
But I would say I mean I just would prefer if it was like, you eat dinner Sunday night, sit down on the couch, grab your drink, and then the game starts. It's the only game on. You got to focus on it.
Can you not eat? It doesn't have to be dinner that you eat, right? Can you not eat like
I'm just saying, like it's
a
like
couple
less
of snacks and drinks?
At the 3:25 game, they're cutting in. Hey, over in Las Vegas, we get Gardner Minshew scrambled for a 6-yard touchdown. They cut in with these weird
What the hell is Gardner Minshew scramble for a 6-yard touchdown?
But that's what they'll cut in with these like updates from the other games. during the 3 o'clock window because there's always a couple. There's like two. They'll be cutting in. Bo Nix just threw another pick. Jesse Bates running back for a TD for the Falcons. They're going to cut in with other updates from other games during that 3 o'clock.
They're not cutting in during game action. They're cutting
they
in
will.
like as they're sitting there trying to call a play or figure out some stuff.
Let's go to JB. Let's see what's happening.
Let's see what's happening in the studio.
I
That's fine by
like
me.
it on Fox when they cut in and they're going, let's go to Terry. Oh, yeah.
Let's not.
Terry Bradshaw
Let's
tell us what's
not
happening.
go.
Yeah.
Yeah, but no, this is a good game. It is probably
should be an
the
awesome
best,
game, yeah.
It's probably the best game on the slate of games this week, and it's
Buffalo by 2 right now. Buffalo -2.
Patrick Mahomes. I think Rosa threw a stat out there on Odds Couple. I don't want to mess the stat up, so you need to go watch Odds Couple so you can hear what Rosa had to say about Patrick Mahomes being an underdog in his time as starting quarterback for the Chiefs. This is going to be good stuff, man. We're going to see what this Chiefs defense can do against one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL. They have one of them on their side, so that's great. But I want to see what they can do against a Josh Allen-led Bills team that has Amari Cooper now as well.
Over under 45.5.
Oh, boy.
Feels a little low, right? I don't know. To me, two of the best 3 quarterbacks in the league.
But that Chiefs defense is so good.
They are good.
And listen, for as great as Patrick Mahomes is, this year he's not.
How about this bet? I don't know what it is. Parlay the 2 quarterbacks each having over half an interception.
Yeah.
Because you figure both of them are going to get one up. Those guys are slinging the ball. They're being liberal. They're trying to make plays. They're gonna mess up. They're not afraid to mess up.
No.
I'd take both of them to have a pick or turnover.
I think I might take the under.
On the 45.5?
I think I might go Chiefs 21, Bills 24. No, wait.
That'd be
23.
That'd be under.
21-23.
Yeah.
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 All right. Those are our games of the weekend, our gals. We're going to take a break. We're going to come back. JB is going to join us, Jared Boyd, on the other side of this break. You're watching Jessica Benson Show here on Grind City Media.
Can't wait. It's time to get it popping.
It's going to be crazy. The fans are going to be loud. We need just energy.
We're going to need, the form rocking. We're going to need, everybody in Memphis to be out there to come to support.
When the fans are good, we're good. Simple as that.
A Bain 3. Yes, sir! Desmond Bain with ice water in his veins.
We'll ride the energy together.
Anticipate each challenge. Make a quick response. Capitalize on every opportunity. And win. Greatness won't wait. It's true in basketball. It's true in banking. Grizzlies checking from Pinnacle. Play hard. Bank easy. Open a Grizzlies checking account with at least $100 and a recurring direct deposit by August 31st. And you could receive a $200 direct deposit bonus into your account. Details at grizzliesbanking.com. Member FDIC.
Grizzlies fans, dunks, dimes, and no-looks are great on TV, but nothing compares to catching them IRL. And that starts with buying tickets at Ticketmaster, the official ticket marketplace of the Memphis Grizzlies and the NBA. Ticketmaster gets you to the game so you can catch every highlight in person. From seeing your favorite Grizzlies stars up close to hearing the squeak of the sneakers on the hardwood. Put that jersey collection to use and get tickets at Ticketmaster. There's no better brag than saying you saw it live. See you courtside, Memphis.
Now every time you go to Miami, you can go see, that's a statue of me there.
No, I don't look nothing like that thing, man. Look, I'm sorry.
I would have been offended.
Look at that. That is UTA.
Oh, look. Hey, y'all got to get that screenshot, man. Put that on the...
The Chris Vernon Show, live on weekdays at noon on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
John Moran is now being called by multiple professional athletes the most athletic human in the world.
What's the second best highlight you've seen this year?
That's right. I can't think of something off the top of my head.
He's had 3 that are better. I said this yesterday. 99.9% of every NBA player could play not only this year, but their entire careers.
The Gary Parrish Show, live on weekdays at 10 a.m. on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
There's no greater gift in the NBA right now than the gift of Ja Morant highlights. The highlight of Ja Morant going reverse 360 generated 161 million views in the first 24 hours.
Hey, Grizzlies fans, be sure to tune in to Grizzby, where the panel and I break down all things Grizzlies and take a look at the rest of the NBA as well. The show is live every Wednesday, 2 p.m. on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
Goldberg announces he's going to have a retirement match in 2025, and he said this on College Game Day.
We know you're trying to ride the coattails because the 2025 is supposed to be the year of John Cena. Goldberg, I have a message for you, my guy. We don't care about your retirement match. Your retirement match was 3 years ago. Go somewhere, go away.
Tune in to Grind City Wrestling weekly on the Grind City Media app and on the Grind City Media YouTube channel.
Welcome back to the Jessica Benson Show here on Grind City Media. Lang Whitaker sitting in for Jessica Benson. She's in the Philippines. Okay, not really. We said that in the chat just to engage, get a little engagement. But Jessica's on vacation. She's back next week. CJ's here, and normally I'm here on Fridays, but CJ and I were talking yesterday. I was like, well, if I'm not going to be here, let's get someone else to come in. So we called Mr. Memphis himself, Jared Boyd, program director at WYXR, also known as JB, also known as DJ Blue Blizzle.
Bizzle Blue
Bland Bizzle.
What's up? What's
up?
A
mouthful. What's up, man? How you doing?
I'm all right. Happy Friday.
I didn't ask you this before, but CJ and I were talking about this morning.
Yep.
Tonight, are you going to watch the Mike Tyson-Jake Paul fight?
I think I'll check some updates on it.
It's on Netflix.
I got a Y2K party to throw tonight.
Oh, you got to play.
Up at DKDC and Cooper Young.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know. I the Grizzlies play tonight too, so we're all going to be watching that.
Yes.
But this is it's like putting a train wreck on live TV. Are you going to watch, CJ?
Not 1 second of it, and I'm pretty sure the first clip that comes across my social media feed, I'm going to like.
The first clip might be one of those guys getting knocked out.
I'm gonna thumbs it down immediately because I don't want that flooding my algorithm. I have no interest in this at all.
I'm old enough. First of all, I hope Mike Tyson comes out to Welcome to the Terror Dome like he used to. When he used to, with the white towel cut out, he used to come out to the
a monster.
I'm old enough to remember that Mike Tyson. I also remember at the end of his career he wasn't very good.
Yeah.
However, I also remember George Foreman in his 40s knocking people out when he was the heavyweight champ.
Well, his career ain't done, clearly, because he's about to ramp it back up tonight.
I don't know. I mean, that's someone yesterday was like, are you going to watch? And I was like, well, I kind of feel like I know how it might go.
Uh-huh.
At the same time, it's Mike Tyson. He might bite someone's ear off. You don't know exactly what's going to happen.
I believe in him. I think he's got enough to knock that guy out.
Does he?
I think
I don't know. I don't know. I really don't know.
It is quite the spectacle. I mean, I am curious to see what the outcome will be.
I spoke about it yesterday here with somebody around here who understands fighting and is interested in that stuff. And he said it's fixed. He was like, there's no way this is a real thing.
Wow.
First of all, it's not 3-minute rounds. They're 2-minute rounds, which means
many weird rules involved in this.
The gloves are different than real boxing, apparently. They're
more
different.
padded.
Yeah, there's some
more
sort
padded.
of difference.
It's softer. It's softer.
So the rules are different than a real boxing match. I mean, but it's not a real boxing match, right? That was my argument. This is a made-for-TV spectacle. So I don't know.
Hey, this is America. This is what we do. This is what we do. We do television spectacles. That's what we do well.
Yeah.
And that's what this is. It is in a world where everybody has a microphone now because we all have phones and we all have social media and we can all do a podcast and just throw it up. You have to be the loudest, most obnoxious version of yourself to get attention, and that's what this is. Jake Paul has found a way. He's found his niche to get in there, get everybody's attention, get you all riled up, get you to care. He's out there crawling on the ground. Some say it's racial, like a monkey, to try and get under Mike Tyson's skin. Mike Tyson slaps him at the weigh-in, and now it's like, oh my gosh, they really dislike each other. We gotta watch this now. It's a great white hype versus the black man. We gotta watch. No, the hell we don't. We don't gotta watch this.
I want Mike Tyson to knock him out.
I want that too.
I would love that. I don't know. I mean,
Yeah,
if it
a
happens,
lot of people would love that.
I don't know if
it
it's real, if it happens. I will say this, I don't know much about the Pauls. I have a child, though, who's a young kid.
Yeah.
And kids love the Paul brothers because all kids drink Prime. Prime is like to what Gatorade was to us. Young kids, they come out with new flavors of Prime. Kids are collecting bottles and different things. And Logan Paul, the brother who wrestles, he's actually a pretty good wrestler. Like I watched WrestleMania last year, and he did a thing where he jumped off the ropes with Ricochet, and it was like one of like the iconic wrestling moments last year. I had no idea he was like that athletic and that good of a wrestler. If Logan Paul's that good of a wrestler, maybe Jake Paul's okay. I don't know.
That's all exciting.
CJ made me watch Jake Paul get knocked out by Floyd Mayweather last year.
Floyd knocked that man out and then held him up.
Yeah.
So he wouldn't go down until he gathered.
But I think
his
that
feet.
might have been fake too.
Okay.
Anyway, I thought of you yesterday, Jared, because the Grizzlies announced their new City Edition uniforms based on the Memphis Sounds, and they put out a tweet yesterday, and the final boss around here, Jason WYXR, put out a tweet where he said, there's this Memphis lore that Isaac Hayes, who was one of the part owner of the Memphis Sounds, supposedly did a theme song. Does anyone know if this is true, or even better, has a copy? And about four people, I was going to tag you underneath this tweet, and I looked down there and like several other people already had.
Yeah, my phone was blown up too.
Because you're Mr. Memphis Music here. I would know, if anybody would know about this, it would be you. So I didn't know if you knew anything about this.
Well, shout out to Sonia Ramon. She reached out to me too. And I reached out to some people who, I was born in the 90s. So, I had to reach out to some folks who might be able to help me out with this. So shout out to John Horniak from the local Memphis chapter of the Grammys. Well, actually, not just local. Our chapter of the Recording Academy is Memphis, St. Louis, New Orleans, and all surrounding areas. And also David Less. Those guys have been in studios since the 70s, and they worked a lot with Isaac Hayes. We're looking for it. We're going to find it. If it exists, we're going to find it. I know. Whether it was pressed to an LP or 45 or not, there's a reel somewhere. We will find it. I don't know if I should make a promise, but I'm throwing a gauntlet down to myself that we will find the existence of this, and we will make sure to share it.
The Jared Boyd guarantee.
Guarantee, baby. We found stranger things.
I did like a cursory Google search last night for it. I was just curious what I could find. And I found Isaac Hayes singing the national anthem at a Grizzlies game.
Oh, wow.
Like it must have been like 2005, 6, somewhere in there. Yeah. Before a playoff game, Isaac Hayes singing a national anthem. But I couldn't find anything, because it's hard to Google Memphis Sound Isaac Hayes, because you're going to find anything Stax related.
Exactly.
So, I don't know.
Well, Isaac Hayes is a captivating figure. From all accounts that I can think of, a tall man. I think he might have hooped.
I went to school with his son, and I remember Isaac Hayes wrote or arranged a version of America the Beautiful that they sang at our graduation ceremony.
Wow.
Like, we sang it, because I remember in the program for graduation it said America the Beautiful, parentheses, arranged Hayes.
Wow.
Which was kind of cool. But I don't remember him being, he was there. I don't remember him being like, 6'8", but he might have been like 6'2", something like that. I don't remember.
He's Black Moses, though.
But he was one of the owners of the Memphis Sounds. I actually went down a rabbit hole of the Memphis Sounds last night, because they were the Memphis Tams before that.
And the pros were in there as well.
And they were only the Memphis Tams, and they wore green and yellow because it was owned by Charlie Finley, who owned the Oakland A's.
Oh.
And that was why they were green and yellow, because they were like the same, ownership group. But he was apparently a terrible owner.
I bet.
And the ABA took it over, and then the guy who owned the ABA came and became the Memphis Sounds owner, and they wore the red and the white and the blue that's now kind of become iconic for one season at the Mid-South Coliseum.
Well, I've seen the existence of one of those original Tams, the hats that they wore at the That 70s shop over there off Sycamore View. He's got that thing behind his desk. If no one's come and claimed it yet, because he's got it for sale, one of those original ABA Tams.
That's wild.
I couldn't figure out what I could wear with it. He's got it sitting on a mannequin. I think it looks better on the mannequin than it would on me walking around town.
Hey, Jared, did you ever have a chance to sit down and talk with Isaac Hayes by chance?
Isaac Hayes passed away when I think I was a freshman in high school.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So you hadn't started the career yet, but you've talked to other people about Isaac Hayes and his impact on the city.
Oh, well, yeah. I mean, Stax as a whole, Lang was with us in New York last summer when we had an incredible pretty much a brown bag luncheon with Booker T. Jones of Booker T and the MGs, which is a highlight of my career, a highlight of my life. The night before, I was DJing in Brooklyn, playing all Memphis music on vinyl. People loved that. And after...
but you interviewed Booker T on stage at Lincoln Center.
Absolutely.
Which is crazy.
Yeah, so I've tried to make up for lost time. I've met just about everybody in Memphis music that you could think about of that era. And for a long time, I hadn't met Al Green.
Yeah.
And I'm a little ashamed to say I bumped into him. I heard he was having a studio session, and I happened to be driving around, and I just hung back and waited to see if he'd show up. And I introduced myself and said, "Hello, I'm Jared Boyd." He says, "Hey, Jerry." And then he just took off running full speed, and I couldn't catch him.
What?
It blew my mind.
Running.
And I've never told this story publicly because I'm a little ashamed to say I think I freaked him out.
I don't know. This sounds crazy though.
So Al Green is running full speed away from you.
I don't know what age Al Green is exactly, but he is fast. And he is tall. He is very tall.
Al Green is 78 years old as of now.
Well,
how long ago was this?
This was probably a year ago.
So he was in his 77.
Yeah. He took off running, ducked into the studio, and I never saw him again.
He was like, "There's a guy Jerry outside."
Scary Jerry. Scary Jerry's out there gonna get me. No, man. Love and happiness is all I wanted, man. Haven't met Glorilla yet. That's on my bucket list.
Okay.
Yeah. I told you. So I used to work for the newspaper in Atlanta, and I interviewed Al Green.
Yeah.
But he was coming to Atlanta. It was like when he was first starting to do his back to doing his old music again. And he was going on tour, and so I asked the paper, the weekly paper, I was like, "Can I do an Al Green thing?" And they're like, "Sure." So I called the record label, and I was like, "Can I have an interview with Reverend Green?" They're like, "No, he doesn't do interviews." So I called the church here in Memphis. I looked it up in the yellow pages, get the phone number, call it. The secretary answers, and I'm like, "Hey, I'd like to speak to Reverend Green, do an interview with him." She's like, "Okay, I'll give him the message." I called every day for like 3 weeks, polite, nice, asked the woman, "Yes, that'd be great. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Yes, ma'am. Yes." One day I'm sitting at home, my phone rings, I answer, "Lang, this is Reverend Al Green." And I was like, "Are you kidding me?" And he's like, "Hi, I heard you've been trying to reach me." And I was like, "Yes, sir. Give me 1 second to get my tape recorder." And we talked for 45 minutes on the phone.
I love it.
Great. He's like, "When you come to the show, I'd like to meet you." And I said, "Yes, sir." So he comes to Atlanta a couple weeks later. I go, and I brought 2 of those posters of him shirtless, the album cover. And I brought it with me, and I talked my way backstage to his dressing room. He comes out. He smelled like Old Spice. That's all I remember. Like he'd showered in it. He comes out. It's super nice. I didn't let me in the dressing room. He came out in the hall, spoke to me for a second, and then he took the poster and he wrote, "Lang, I love you, Reverend Al Green." And I have it framed. That was before like any Memphis stuff happened in my life. This was like 2000, and then all of a sudden now I'm here and I have this weird Memphis artifact as part of my life. It would have been funny if he'd signed it and then took off and sprinted down the hall.
Some guy named Jerry is chasing me.
Hi, Reverend Green, I'm Lang. Jerry?
Not this again.
Jared, what y'all got going on at WYXR, man?
Well, we're gearing up for our biggest fundraiser of the year. It's called a Race by Sound Fest. This is the 3rd annual Race by Sound Fest. And it's a day of free music in the daytime, and then in the evening we'll have a big ticketed concert. That ticketed concert is fortunately for us, fortunately for us, it is sold out. And then there's going to be an after party, so I can break down some of the free music that you can check out, which will be happening right after about noontime. I say that because it's the same day as the St. Jude Marathon.
Yeah.
So we want to make sure that everyone who's planning to be at the marathon does not freak out, because you can do the marathon, you can cheer on the runners, you can run, you can go catch your breath, and then you can come hear some free music in the Crosstown Arts Central Atrium there. We'll have a Hooray for Riff Raff, we'll have Heartbreak Hill, we'll have Foster Falls, and many, many more. And then after that, fortunately, the ticketed event in the Crosstown Theater, Jay Spaceman and John Coxon of the band Spiritualize are doing a tribute to William Eggleston, the Memphis photographer, has a film that was sort of like a found footage film, and they're going to do a live score to that film. So we're excited that event has been sold out. All the seats are sold out. Yeah. But you can take another breath and come back later at night. I'll be hanging out with Tommy Wright III and Lil Noyd and Memphis rap legends of the 90s of the cassette era. They'll be doing a set, and then the Black Keys, the actual Black Keys, will be there to DJ and play some of their favorite music. So we're excited that all came together.
That's amazing.
Yeah, so you can go to raisedbysoundfest.com
After party
to find more about
sponsored
that.
by Grind City Media.
Oh, yeah. Thank y'all so much for your support. Yeah. Breaking news, baby.
That's kind of cool. Yeah, no, that's amazing. And I'm not a big Black Keys listener, but I know they get such respect from musicians and people are all right, these dudes are they're real, they get it. So I'm kind of curious to hear what they pick music wise.
Yeah, I was really trying to set up a gig to just hang out with them, and we were supposed to go to dinner, and then it was supposed to take shape into another thing in Nashville, and then it was just well, let's just come to Memphis and throw a party. I was like, let's do that.
Yeah. Speaking of throwing parties, where are you playing next?
Well, tonight I'll be at DKDC in Cooper Young. We're doing a Y2K party, and then coming up, Thanksgiving Eve, I'll be at Cameo. Me, Big Sue, and Alpha Whiskey, we're doing our Friendsgiving party. I used to do it at the deli a couple years back, but we're bringing it back at Cameo. So, yeah, big Bizzle Blue Band and friends. Thanksgiving Eve, it was crazy when we did it at the deli, so I think it'll be even crazier at Cameo with the ladies. Ladies, two of my favorite heroes, really, of Memphis music, Big Sue and DJ Alpha Whiskey.
I much also just want to speak this into existence. You and I have talked about this offline. There was just the Stax documentary and all this stuff. The Al Green documentary is waiting to be made.
Yes.
And he's still alive.
Yes.
And somehow this needs to happen. And
well, I guess I got to start sprinting because if I'm going to
catch him, man.
We got to catch
if I'm going
up.
to catch him, I have to have one of those Mari cameramen running down the hallway.
be like Mike Tyson chasing after Jake Paul. All right, we're going to take a break. Appreciate you joining us, JB. We'll be back in a second here on the Jessica Benson Show here on Grind City Media.
Kroger shoppers and Grizz fans, one exclusive last-minute discounted ticket deals texted straight to you during the Grizzlies 2024-2025 season. Sign up with the new Kroger Buzzer Beater deal. Fans can sign up by texting Grizz to 636-479 or visit your local Kroger store in the Delta Division and scan the QR code. By signing up, you agree to receive recurring automated promotional and personalized marketing text messages from the Memphis Grizzlies. Consent is not a condition of any purchase. Message frequency varies. Message and data rate.
Thanks for showing up, Memphis. Nothing beats catching your Grizzlies IRL, and nobody knows that better than you. So next time you want to hit up a game, Ticketmaster's got your back with tickets to every upcoming matchup. Whether you're catching the Grizzlies at home or on the road, you'll find tickets at Ticketmaster, the official ticket marketplace of the Memphis Grizzlies and the NBA. Keep putting that jersey collection to use and get Grizzlies tickets today. There's no better brag than saying you saw it live. See you courtside again soon, Memphis.
Justin Timberlake. I'm bringing sexy back. The Forget Tomorrow World Tour. Live in Memphis. Justin Timberlake. FedEx Forum, Saturday, November 23rd. Get tickets now at livenation.com. The brand new single Selfish is available to stream and download now. For more, hit up justintimberlake.com.
John Moran is now being called by multiple professional athletes the most athletic human in the world.
What's the second best highlight you've seen this year?
That's right. I mean, I can't think of something off the top of my head.
He's had three that are better. I mean, I said this yesterday. 99.9% of every NBA player could play not only this year, but their entire careers.
The Gary Parrish Show, live on weekdays at 10 a.m. on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
It's the top 5 worst teams in the NFL. I think the Panthers are the worst team in the NFL.
I got the Saints number 1. Ha ha ha! Let's put the Aints up there. They're terrible.
I'll take the Titans as my worst team in the NFL. If they played Will Levis, they're for sure the worst team. Maybe in NFL history. Might be worse than the 0-16 Lions if they play Will Levis.
The Odds Couple, live at 2 p.m. on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
Who do you see ending up in the SWAC championship game? So give me your East and your West based on what you see right now.
If I had to say from what I've seen this year so far, I think you're probably going to get a Southern Jackson SWAC championship.
Get all of your HBCU sports and culture news by tuning in to HBCU Huddle with CJ Hurt and Mike Wallace. New episodes drop every Thursday on grindcitymedia.com, YouTube, and Spotify.
Welcome back to the Jessica Benson Show. It's Friday here on Grind City Media. We're about to finish off this show, let you get on with your day and get into your weekend. I'm Lane Whitaker, sitting in for JB. CJ Hurt's here with me, and it's Friday, which means it's Music Friday. And we got some stuff to get into. There was a clip going around, CJ, of the I forget what it's called, 7 o'clock in Brooklyn podcast or whatever. It's Mero from Deezus and Mero. And Carmelo Anthony have a podcast now. And this clip was going around of Carmelo Anthony talking about getting to meet Stevie Wonder after an NBA game. And let's watch this.
Yo, Stevie Wonder, want to meet the players, come out. Yo, Stevie, Carmelo Anthony, man. Don't even say it. Don't even say it. You got to say it, bro. Don't try not to laugh. He said, I love watching you play. Come out, yo.
I was actually, there's a great podcast, CJ, I've been listening to called The Wonder of Stevie. Have you heard of this? No. So President Obama and his wife have a media company now.
Yeah.
And they produce different stuff. They're producing a podcast called The Wonder of Stevie. And it's about that 5-album run in Stevie Wonder's career.
What a run.
Yeah. So it's a 6-episode podcast. Wesley Morris from the New York Times hosts it. And each episode is about each one of those albums. And they interview all these different people on there. Questlove produced it, all these different people. And President Obama's on the podcast. He's like a huge Stevie Wonder fan. But those albums like Fulfilling His First Finale and Songs in the Key of Life, those 5 albums that like kind of changed music. But on that podcast, they have a professor from Juilliard who teaches a class about Stevie Wonder and just about his songwriting and technique. And the guy talks about how Stevie Wonder being blind to a lot of people sort of like mystifies Stevie Wonder. Yeah. Like you're like, oh my gosh. And instead of most of us, and I'm guilty of this too, instead of most of us thinking, oh, Stevie Wonder worked harder than we would have had to work to learn how to play instruments, we just think, oh, it's magic. Like there's no other way this would work. It must be magic. And I feel like I've heard this line before with Stevie Wonder. Like this has been a Twitter thing for a long time and people being like, oh, Stevie Wonder watches TV and all this stuff. I feel like we sell him short. Like this does a disservice to the genius of Stevie Wonder to joke about it a little bit. It is kind of funny though.
Stevie Wonder can absolutely see some.
I don't think
he can see.
He lost his sight when he was like 6 years old. Like,
I understand that part. This isn't the only time somebody has said Stevie has mentioned something like, hey, it's good to I love watching you play. Stevie would sit courtside at NBA games. Like, why, Stevie, why are you at the NBA game courtside? 1. 2, Stevie Wonder, there's a story, I think Amin has a story, Amin Hassan has a story where either he or a buddy of his walking around whatever company they're working for at the time, and Stevie Wonder is there, and he's standing in front of the vending machine. He's like, Stevie, what are you doing? He's like, oh, I'm grabbing me a snack. How? You can't see. What do you mean?
Well, also on the podcast, he meets these 2 guys, these British guys who like have a synthesizer. And that's kind of what, changed his music, was going from piano to synthesizer.
Yeah.
And those guys said like they set up the studio. He had never been to their studio. It's in New York. They set it up and they had to like teach him like, okay, there's a microphone hanging here. There's, all sorts of junk hanging all over studios. But they said after like 2 days, he could just walk in and duck and walk. Like he had it down quick, but he did have to learn where everything was and everything's hanging. Like, I don't know. I think Stevie Wonder is the greatest musician of all time. Like the fact that he, plays piano and sings, but he also, especially in like Songs of the Key of Life and all those things, he plays every instrument. He plays the drums, the bass, everything but the guitar. And you know who the guitar player is on those albums?
Who?
Ray Parker Jr.
Oh.
From Ghostbusters.
Okay.
Ray Parker Jr. was Stevie Wonder's guitarist back then. And he says on the thing, he's like, hey, I had the best job security in the group because the one instrument Stevie Wonder couldn't play was the guitar. He could play everything but guitar. So Ray Parker Jr. was the guitar player back then.
Yeah, Stevie Wonder, if we started tearing off American musicians, Wonder is absolutely in that top tier. I would throw Quincy Jones in there.
I would too.
I would throw Prince in there. I think I'm throwing Michael Jackson in there also, right? Like there's just a musical genius is what Stevie Wonder is. Whether he can see or not, musical genius. I think that for me personally, I think absolutely he is legally blind and can't see very, very well. But I think he can see some. I don't think he's completely blind.
I don't know. I was reading about it. There's like different
Ray Charles
opinions.
is up there, I think.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of other just top tier American musicians.
I mean, do you want to count jazz musicians too?
Yeah.
Like Miles Davis, Coltrane, those guys.
Oh yeah. Throw them up there.
You could put. I'm trying to think of like other genres. Willie Nelson.
But that's the thing about the ones that we've named. She's got a new album out. About the ones that we've named already. Don't they cross? Almost all genres.
Quincy Jones
is everything. Yeah. Quincy Jones is Mr. American music, right? Like he does everything.
Yeah.
So I'm not. Some of those are, while they are great, and their greatness is not to be trifled or diminished. Like they are great in their genre and their like 2 to 3 genres. These other artists that we are mentioning right now crosses multiple genres by the dozens.
Somebody else in the chat said Dolly's up there. I can see that too.
Okay.
Yeah, I think Ray Charles, Quincy Jones to me was always like like to me, I think he's like the fact that he grew up with Ray Charles, did all the Frank Sinatra arranging, then did Thriller. Like that's incredible. You know, like how in the
and then had the audacity to do what? Bossa Nova, the Austin Powers theme.
Yeah.
Right? Like the Austin Powers theme, the Sanford and Son theme, Thriller, Frank Sinatra.
Fly Me to the Moon.
Like, come on, man.
Yeah,
come on, that's just a bad dude right there, dog.
There's a great podcast that actually JB put me on. What's it called? One Song. Have you heard of this thing? I mean, look, I'm just looking up real quick. The One Song Podcast. Yeah. It's these two guys who are producers / musicians / just music nerds.
Yeah.
And they break down one song for an hour.
Okay.
So there's a Thriller one like 2 weeks ago for Halloween they did Love and Happiness a couple weeks ago, and Jared actually sent it to me, and I listened, and it's incredible. So they'll like take it from, all right, here's the drum beat, and they'll research who's the drummer, why'd they pick this drum beat, how did this play, and they'll ISO all the different parts of the song. So they'll be like, this is like, they did, this week was Peg by Steely Dan.
Okay.
And they have like the unreleased versions of it. So they tried this drum beat, it didn't work. They tried this drum beat, they fired this drummer, they hired this guy. He came up with this drum beat, this is what they did. Now the bass line. And it's an hour of this stuff, but they did Thriller a couple weeks ago, and it's incredible.
What's it called again?
One Song.
Okay.
It's a great podcast. It's like if you're a music nerd, they like use terms like, I mean, I can read music and stuff, and like I don't know half the stuff they're talking about. These are plagonic scales and stuff. When they go from the 1 to the 4, you know, instead of the 4 and the floor beat here, he skips the 3, and you're like, oh, okay. Like, I feel like it makes me a better musician to listen to it. Though.
Got you.
Somebody saw my Ray Parker Jr. in here too. All right. What else we got on Music Friday?
New music. Linkin Park's new album.
Yeah, you're a big Linkin Park guy. I'm not.
Not big. I enjoy.
I mean, being any part of a Linkin Park guy is more than me.
From Zero, we were talking about it some in the chat. There are like 4 or 5 songs I really, really enjoy. They are. It's odd.
Wake
right?
Me Up Inside. That's not Linkin Park.
No, that's Evanescence.
All right.
Yeah, no. And that's not on this album at all. To me. There are tracks on this album that sound more Linkin Park-ish with Chester than others.
Yeah.
There are songs on this album that sound like Linkin Park, but they're featuring female vocalists, which is who the new lead vocalist is. She's a woman. And then there are songs on this album that sound completely and totally different. I think Stained is really, really good. I enjoy that. If you want that old Linkin Park sound, I think, what is it? Heavy as the Crown, I do believe is what it's called, is great. I listened to it.
It's a song with Jay-Z. What's that one?
That's Encore. That's the one that they did where they blended them.
What about Numb? Is that one of their songs?
Yes, Numb. They blended Encore with Numb. There's, all in all, I thought it was a good album. And there'll be songs that I will listen to again. I probably won't listen to the whole album, but I'll absolutely listen to the 2 songs I just named because they're really good.
All right. There's a bunch of other albums coming out this week.
Which one of these are you going? Would you be most likely to?
I've already
listen to?
downloaded one of these albums.
Which one?
I pre-downloaded it. Guess which one?
Guess which one? So I'm pretty sure it's not the Linkin Park From Zero.
It's definitely not.
Pretty sure it's not Shawn Mendes's new album, Shawn.
No.
I did listen to some of the John Batiste Beethoven Blues.
That's the one.
That's the one. It's. I'm like 5 in. It's good.
It's good.
I
assume it's just classical / John Batiste playing Beethoven. Because when I looked at the list, the track list, it's all just like, Sonata, Symphony No. 4, whatever. It's all like just Beethoven, and it's sequenced like a classical album.
Yeah.
So I don't think I'd assume it's not like vocals and stuff.
Yeah. When you came in and said what's up to me this morning, that's what was.
Because John Batiste is like a Juilliard trained musician,
Yeah.
so I assume this is his take on a Beethoven thing.
Yes.
So I'm kind of curious to hear that. And
it's interesting. It's interesting in a really, really cool, good way,
Yeah.
right? Like you think Beethoven, you hear the classical sound. Now imagine somebody who grew up in New Orleans in present day trying to modernize that
Yeah,
sound.
that's what I thought.
And that's what you get. It's pretty good. I'm curious about the Mary J. Blige album. I might listen to that.
I didn't know Jen had an album coming out.
Who the hell is Jen?
The guy who is that the guy who used to be on Rap Basement? Remember the guy who used to win the battle rap all the time? The Asian guy?
Oh, that's Jen.
Isn't that him?
That can't be Jen. Hold on. I'm going to look
That was that guy's name.
What's the name of the album again?
MC Jin. That was the guy's name.
There's no way that's him. No, Lang. That's Jin of BTS.
Oh. MC Jin says it stopped rapping. He stopped rapping. He's got success in mainland China right now.
All right.
I was also thinking the album Red Clay Strays. They had a single. They're from Muscle Shoals. They had a single last year that was pretty good. So I was like, oh, let me get this album. I listened to the album, and after that song, it was kind of like, oh, okay. It's not quite as good as I was hoping it would be.
Okay.
MF Doom
And that
passed
just,
away a few years ago. So
That's just a compilation.
Yeah,
now,
it must be
right?
like a compilation.
Best of?
But Doom's always the best. What's the Dolly Parton one?
I'm
Smoky
unfamiliar.
Mountain DNA.
I'm unfamiliar. I
That sounds like
definitely won't.
that
give
sounds like a
listen.
detective show on CBS.
Smoky Mountain DNA.
Or the Country Network. Was it they still have
CMT?
CMT, yeah.
CMVs, whatever
Country
it
Music
is.
Television. Tonight, Smoky Mountain DNA. Dolly Parton and Willie Nelson solve a crime in the. I don't know. I'm surprised there's no Christmas albums on here.
It's not that time yet, is it?
It is though.
Is it?
Oh, they've already on Sirius. They already got the Christmas stations
Do
playing.
they? Oh, come on.
I'm against it.
Cher already dropped her album.
Cher has one.
She dropped her album in like October.
There's a few of them that have come out. I'm a strict anti-Christmas music until after Thanksgiving person. My son actually this morning on the way to school was asking me if we could please start listening to the Christmas music. And I said, maybe we can make an exception, like only on the ride to school. So you don't get overwhelmed with it, like just 10 minutes a day, something like that until Thanksgiving. Because if you start at Thanksgiving, by Christmas time, you're ready to move on to something else.
Yeah.
So, but we got a big day ahead. Hey, the Hustle are playing tonight. And guess who's joining the team?
Who?
Yuki Kawamura.
Yuki.
He's playing for the Hustle tonight. Colin Castleton also got called up. So the Hustle are back to their full strength as the Grizzlies get back to health. The Grizzlies play tonight against the Warriors, 9 o'clock. Sunday. We didn't even mention Sunday. The Nuggets are coming to town. Jokic is out for personal reason for the Nuggets. He's apparently, according to Reddit, is about to have a child, so he may or may not be back. I don't know. Hopefully he's not back because he's been killing it lately. Sunday's HBCU night here at FedEx Forum. We're giving out these, as part of the new uniform, these like letters for a Letterman jacket. You can stick it on there. CJ, are you involved in the HBCU stuff Sunday night?
I am.
Yeah.
I am.
As the co-host of the HBCU podcast.
I don't remember what I'm supposed to be doing. I have to go check my email. But yeah, I'll be out there.
I'm sure you're doing something out there.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. Well, that's your show today. I appreciate you guys hanging out with us. Jessica's back here on Monday. Have a good weekend. Enjoy yourself. Take some time off. Relax. And go, dogs. He's CJ. I'm Lang. We'll see you next week.